What's going on, guys? I gave it a couple days so I could process what has happened over the weekend at UFC 322 because I couldn't make this video right after, to be honest. If you saw me, I went non-verbal at the function when after round 5 started and JDM came at Islam with everything he had left, and Islam just took him down instantly. I just couldn't even watch. I had to go turn around, bro. And I'm not even an Islam hater, bro. Like, I liked them both. I just, it's fun to root for the underdog. I thought there was a genuine path to victory for him, but I'm starting to think there was literally no chance he could ever have beaten Islam that night. Like, I don't even know. It's just literally, I don't think anyone was beating Islam that night, bro. And what makes me mad is just like, no, I couldn't have known how good Islam would be. I know, and it's pissing me off because everyone's going to be like, bro, you really picked JDM? Bro, JDM's a bum. Bro, JDM wasn't going to win. But like, they're glazing Islam for beating him. So if JDM's a bum, how is it impressive that Islam won? JDM is literally one of the best fighters in the world. He's the second best welterweight on the planet to Islam, bro. And Islam did that to him. Like, you genuinely can't underestimate these guys at all, even when you've seen them not do good. Well, they've done good, but against Volk and Poirier gone mostly the distance. Like, I'm sorry for thinking that someone 2 weight classes above Volkanovski could have similar success as he did in the fight. But no, Islam just, after the bulk, without the weight cut, just insanely, just way too good, technically grappling compared to JDM. Just, and those calf kicks, bro. Like, that was honestly one of the biggest things in the fight. JDM, he's a boxer. He switches stances. He keeps his legs wide to generate power. And, taking out that front leg on his southpaw stance just made just really took JDM out of his rhythm. Those calf kicks really added up. And it also, I think it limited his takedown defense in the last 3 rounds. Because you saw the first round, obviously Islam's, everyone knows his best chance right now is in the first round. So he took him down pretty easily. Second round, he did not do it as fast, and JDM almost got him with the throw. I was talking about that in the last video, his little judo throw he tries. But then he tries to climb over the back, and then Islam just gets higher than him, and JDM ends up on bottom against the cage, as he does for most of this fight, bro. And guys, like, I can appreciate greatness, but it's just man, that was too hard to watch, bro. Like, I was just hoping JDM would have some success in the fight that I could possibly be like, well, you saw it was possible. But no, bro, he just could not do anything to this guy. How good is Poirier? How good is 35-year-old Poirier coming off of a 6-week camp, bro? How good is he? How good is a lightweight? How good is Volkanovski for dropping Islam and grounding pounding him in guard, bro? How good are they that Della, Maddalena, the welterweight champ, couldn't do anything to him? Anything. Alright, guys, I'm sorry. This video has become kind of a little crash out, and I need to just break down the rest of the fights. I'm going to talk about what fights they should do next after I break down the main card. I went 3 for 2, so actually, no, I went 2 for 3, but hey, guys, look. All the fights on here were, like, besides the main event, plus 150 underdog, minus 150 favorite. Pretty close odds, This is the type of card where you're going to get some wrong, get some right. Getting all 5 is just kind of crazy. And, look, I didn't get all 5, but I thought my breakdowns were pretty accurate, except for, let's move on from the main event to the co-main. You can always count on Shevchenko to just completely take the momentum out of a card. She did it on 315. She did it on the Sphere card. She always just comes in and just decisions these girls, bro. Right when the cards are just picking up, getting good, boom, bro. Like, I think it wasn't just me. A lot of people picked Zhang Weili because of her dominance in her last fights, but with WMMA, it's not the same. I even mentioned this in the last video. I said I don't think lighter women's skill exists the way lighter man's skill exists, with the lighter weight classes being more skillful. I think it's not the same in WMMA, and honestly, the size difference seems to matter a lot more. And I thought DC made a really good point. He said, the lighter you go in weight classes, like the bigger of a deal those weight jumps are. And he said that's why Pantoja doesn't want to fight Merab. That's why DJ never wanted to move up. He wanted Della to move down. And it makes complete sense. And that fight just proved it. Zhang Weili just looked way too small. Couldn't do really anything to Valentina. She got punished every time she tried to come in. Every time she clinched, she got taken down. Shevchenko was just laying in half guard the whole time, not capitalizing on any of the success she had on the feet with those body kicks and head kicks. Yeah, but I do think she's the GOAT. She definitely passes Nunes. Like, that Weili win is just one of the best wins you could have in WMMA. But anyways, let's move on. Sean Brady. This is part of why I was crashing out, too, because the people I kept wanting to win kept losing. Sean Brady, I like the guy, he's an American wrestler. He's just a cool guy. I like his tattoos. Michael Morales is genuinely just a freak of nature at that weight class, dude. There's no way he's 170, bro. He literally looked like the same frame as Sean Brady, but just a foot taller. Like, the taller guys in the weight class, like Prates and these guys, they're usually, and Ian Gary, they're always tall, like that height, but lean and long, not as thick as Sean Brady. But Michael Morales, like, I thought Gilbert Burns was just washed with his finish over Gilbert Burns this year, but he did the same thing to Sean Brady, who dominated Gilbert Burns. He was so massive that he could just go out there kind of in an already defensive wrestling position with his hips back, squatted down a little bit, and still throw bombs that just went around Sean Brady's guard. Sean Brady was covering up. His arms, his 80-inch reach, and his giant frame for the weight class, he literally just wrapped his shots around the guard, hitting, like, behind Sean Brady's ears, bro. Insane. Like, I don't know. Obviously, hindsight is 2020. Maybe I should have gone with Morales, but people were pretty split on the fight. It wasn't that unreasonable to think Sean Brady could before, but now we know. Before the fight, you see Michael Morales beating Gilbert Burns and Neil Magny. You're like, okay, Sean Brady could just completely fraud check this guy, but no. Michael Morales, honestly, could give Islam problems. And here's the thing with Islam fans, man. It's like you say something like that, Michael Morales could give Islam problems, and everyone's just like, bro, Islam's going to sub him round 1. Islam's going to sub him round 2. That's what they were saying about JDM, bro. They were just like, the people who just blindly guys are just like, Islam by sub round 1, Islam by sub round 2. Obviously, when someone is that good, he doesn't just immediately sub them. Look at JDM, look at Poirier, look at Volk. JDM's best thing was a submission defense for sure, but anyone who's on that higher level isn't just going to immediately get subbed by Islam. And I think someone as massive as Michael Morales, who has a reach advantage, has that much power, could genuinely give Islam Makhachev problems with the way he handled Sean Brady, who I think Sean Brady is still top 3 grapplers at that division. I mean, honestly, I don't even know who else is better than him besides Islam, obviously, at just pure grappling. His wrestling into jiu-jitsu, change his control is just top level, and Michael Morales made easy work of him. But moving on, all night I was saying Carlos Prates is about to murder Leon Edwards, and I genuinely feel bad. Like, I feel like I actually kind of manifested it happening a little bit, just with how dismissive I was of Leon Edwards winning. I could see the vision in the first round. I could see the vision for picking Leon by decision with... No, I couldn't even see the vision, because I just knew it was coming, bro. You can always count on Carlos Prates for just a highlight knockout on the card. How good is Ian Gary, bro? How good? How good is Ian Gary? But, honestly, this is what I was saying. Carlos, he is... I would rather fight anyone in welterweight besides Carlos. Anyone in welterweight. He's just so mean, dude. Everything he throws. How much power does this guy have? He's not even like a Ilya where he's short and stocky. He's loading all of that power into his shots, staying tight. He can just throw anything, like knees, elbows, shots. Obviously, he's long, but it's just, how hard does this guy hit, dude? Literally, every single knockout has been a walk-off, except for this one, which genuinely would have been a walk-off if he didn't want to throw that extra ground and pound. Leon was smiling, looking around, lost. Like, he could have walked off, but, he's hungry for that title shot, man. And honestly, I'll talk about it in fights to make next, but, Yeah, we had two guys put on a show and state their case for a title shot, and Michael Morales and Carlos Prates. But moving on, last fight on the main card, I picked BSD by finish, and he did. Over the week, I actually started to see people pick Beneil Dariush, and I was like, I don't know, man. BSD, Beneil would definitely out-grapple him. He's way more technical. BSD, I don't know. Like, I started to overthink that pick so much, and then Beneil Dariush just showed his chin is just so gone. Like, that's why you had to pick BSD in this one, bro. Renato Moicano dropped him, flatlined by Armin, TKO'd by Charles, flatlined by BSD with one clean shot on the head, just flatlined. Like, I'm sorry, but Neil got to hang up the gloves. Like, as technical as he is, just if you're getting chinned so easily, you're just not going on a run. Higher up in the rankings, just it might be time, bro. But fights to make next. We'll restart the order. We'll go from the top to the bottom of the main card. And starting with the main event, Islam. I know it sucks for the welterweights because they just had to wait for Islam to move up. And I'm thinking Ilya should be next for him, and they'll all have to wait for him. But I think the UFC did this on purpose. I kind of see what they did a little bit. They mixed and matched all the contenders. Like, they gave the number 2 guy, Sean Brady, the number 8 guy, Michael Morales, the number 4, Leon Edwards, the number 9, Carlos Prates, the number 1, Bilal, the number 6 or 7, Ian Gary. You know why they did this? Is because now they'll have 2 or 3 top contenders that all are calling for their title shot at once. So that way, if Ilya moves up, there's not one clear guy that's just getting snubbed. I think that's why they didn't make the Brady versus Ian Gary fight, because if they did, it would be such a clear title eliminator that people would be kind of mixed, calling for the winner of that over Ilya to get a title shot if Islam won. And so the way they did it, now they have a few guys that they can give one more fight to if Ilya moves up. And I think that's what they're going to do. But, I think Ilya should be the next fight for Islam. It's just such a banger fight. Champ versus champ. Ilya has the opportunity to win champ 3 belts. And Islam has the opportunity to pass Anderson Silva's win record. Either way, records are getting broken. That is a great fight. I think that's what they should make next. For my boy JDM, I'm not switching up on him. I'm never switching up on him. My favorite fighter. He will be back. I think JDM, I think they should give him, if Ian Gary wins, I think they should do that fight. JDM versus Ian Gary would be good. Besides that, they could give him Shavkat. I think that would be a great matchup. I think JDM would beat Shavkat. Ian Gary is actually, it depends, it obviously depends on his fight next week if he beats Bilal or not. But I think Ian Gary could be a tricky matchup for him. But JDM could also be a tricky matchup for Ian Gary. They're both like the two typical styles, JDM's like a short in the pocket boxer. He's not short, but he's in the pocket boxer, that close range. Ian Gary's a long range distance fighter using his long range weapons, the straights, the teeps, the knee stomps, and oblique kicks, So I think that would be a good fight. JDM will be back. He will be back. He will beat either of them, actually, and he will beat them easily, and he will rematch Islam. He'll make the adjustments, and he'll TKO Islam. So, there we go. Moving on, Shevchenko. I don't know. Shevchenko can fight Natalia Silva, bro. I honestly do not care. Please do not put her on another pay-per-view again, bro. Please put her on a fight night in Brazil so she can get booed. I don't want it, bro. She just takes the momentum out of cards. And I don't even think she's that... I can appreciate how good she is at the striking and the grappling and the clinch everywhere, but she just doesn't even go for finishes anymore. It's I think champions, they just get so good and so much better than their contenders that they just decide to just comfortably win, It happened to GSP. I wasn't a fan during the era, but, based on all the decisions he had and how much better he was than everyone, they just get to a point where they don't need to brawl. They don't need to go as hard as they can looking for the finish. They can just completely outskill their opponent and win a comfortable decision. But yeah, give her Natalia Silver. I don't care. Weili Zhang. I think she should just go back to 115 and fight Mackenzie Dern. Man, these women's fights, bro. Yeah, she'll just destroy Mackenzie Dern. I don't even know. It's like, whatever, man. Let's move on. Michael Morales. I'm going to match up the two big welterweight winners together. I think Morales versus Prates is a perfect #1 contender fight because they're both coming off of these amazing KOs against top contenders, but they don't exactly deserve it yet. I mean, Morales, he beat Gilbert Burns, then Brady. Prates, he beat Edwards, who's coming off a 2-fight losing streak. Before that, Jeff Neal. Before that, lost to Ian Gary. So both these guys aren't exactly they need a title shot right now, but they're definitely close. So I think by matching them two up, you'll have a clear one. And it's honestly a close fight. They're both, high knockout rates. I don't even know who I'd pick, but yeah, that's a good fight. I'm gonna pick them two to fight each other. And for Sean Brady, man, I think Gabriel Bonfim would be a good matchup. By the end of when the rankings get reset, he's gonna be pretty low. Not super low, but he's definitely gonna be around 6, maybe 7 in his spot. And I think Gabriel Bonfim matchup would be good. I don't know about a Buckley fight. I think Buckley might have to fight down after his Usman loss. I keep forgetting about Usman. And in all my matchups, I keep forgetting about Usman. But the dude just Kid doesn't want to fight. Kid just doesn't want to fight. Kid thinks he's going to fight Islam. Who's going to tell him? Who's going to tell Usman that you're not fighting Islam next, bro? You've been sitting out. All the welterweights are actually fighting. You beat Buckley. And now you're sitting around on the podcast with Cejudo just being like, I think me and Islam is a great fight. Former pound for pound, current pound for pound. Just shut up, bro. You're not getting a fight. Maybe Sean Brady. Usman's not taking a Sean Brady fight, so that's why I'm not even matching him up with anybody. I think Sean Brady, either Buckley or Gabriel Bonfim is next. But I think Sean Brady versus Bonfim is the move. And then Leon Edwards, the move is Joaquin Buckley. They're both in a similar spot. Striker versus striker. They'll both be near each other in the rankings by the end of all this. So Edwards versus Buckley, that's the fight to make. And Gabriel Bonfim versus Sean Brady are the fights to make at welterweight. And obviously, Michael Morales versus Carlos Prates. JDM versus Shavkat. And Islam versus Ilya. And ended off with the winner, with the last fight on the main card. I think that BSD should fight Gamrot next. They're in a similar spot in the rankings to each other. The top contenders at lightweight don't fight that often, so if he wants to fight someone near soon, he should fight Gamrot. And Beneil Dariush honestly should retire, but if he wants to keep fighting, dude, I don't even know. Moicano was a perfect matchup for him because they're both just kind of unks that are good enough to be in the rankings skill-wise, but lose to a lot of these young, fresh killers that have high finishing rates. So, yeah, I think Beneil should just hang it up. I'm not going to match him up with some killer at lightweight. So, I hope you guys enjoyed my recap, crash out, and breakdown / fights to make next for UFC 322. I'm going to keep coming with videos. Subscribe if you like the content. And, yep, thank you.